Goodness with care from our villages. Arokya Milk.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 7 of Mahabharata with Anuja. Thank you so much for joining me here today. In the previous episode, I told you about Drona's famous tournament and what happened after that. He demanded his Guru Dakshina from the princess, and it was Arjuna who fulfilled his Guru's request with effortless ease. Now shortly after this, since this was such a big win for the Pandavas, it was decided that Yudhishthira would be the heir apparent, the crown prince, and he would rule after Dhritarashtra. Now this took a bit of arguing because Dhritarashtra was partial to his son naturally, and Vidura had to remind him of all the ill omens that were heard at Duryodhana's birth and how it had been prophesied that he would bring ruin to the kingdom. So Dhritarashtra's hand was forced and Yudhishthira started ruling, and he turned out to be a very, very good king. He had a certain effortless grace about him, and he was always willing to go out of his way to help people, and they really loved him. Bhima at that time had gone to Dwaraka to train under Balarama in the art of using the mace, and Arjuna decided to go on a conquest. He had a lot of imperial ambition, and like his father before him, he went out and he subdued powerful kingdoms and he brought them under Kuru rule. He prevailed even against kingdoms where Pandu hadn't been able to succeed, and he suppressed all revolts, and then there was this time when he returned and he forced so many people to pay tribute, and their treasury was filled to overflowing. It was a time of abundance, and the citizens loved Arjuna for it, the citizens of Hastinapura. They worshipped the ground he walked on, and his popularity was such that Duryodhana became very, very jealous, and with the backing of Karna, Shakuni and Dushasana, he hatched an evil plot to get rid of the Pandavas for good. Duryodhana approached his father Dhritarashtra and he told him, we have to do this, we have to get rid of enemies, otherwise I'll be reduced to the status of a poor relative and I'll kill myself before that happens. And with emotional blackmail like this, he convinced his father to give an order to the Pandavas to visit Varanavata. It was a death trap for the Pandavas. Duryodhana had given instructions to his evil henchman Purochana, and the orders were to build a mansion entirely of wax and other materials like lac and tallow, and to soak the entire thing in ghee. And his instructions were to win the trust of the Pandavas, lure them into this trap and burn them all alive. Now when the Pandavas received this order from Dhritarashtra, of course they were suspicious. They knew that he was partial to his sons, but Yudhishthira was the sort of guy who would always obey his elders even if they were plotting to kill him. So he urged his brothers to go along with this, and they set out to Varanavata, and Vidura very discreetly, he met them at the edge of the kingdom and he spoke to Yudhishthira in a dialect which only the two of them knew. And even then he didn't spell things out for Yudhishthira, but he just said, sometimes enemies are very close to you, they are within your ranks. So a wise man always proceeds with caution. And then he encouraged Yudhishthira also. He promised help and sent the Pandavas and Kunti on their way. Yudhishthira told his brothers and his mother about this, and they decided to be on their guard. Now on the way to Varanavata, there were lots of people who were very, very hospitable to the Pandavas, and they were feasted wherever they went. And as slowly as possible, they proceeded to Varanavata with Purochana accompanying them. And as soon as they entered this luxurious palace, Yudhishthira called Bhima and his brothers, and he pointed out that the entire thing had been built with wax, and they could even smell the ghee and all the oils that had been used to ensure that it burns quickly. And Bhima was very angry. He said, listen, why should we be sitting ducks out here? I will kill that Purochana and then let's go somewhere else. Why should we stay here? And then Yudhishthira told him, see, if we let on that we know their evil intentions, what's going to happen? Duryodhana is not going to give up. He's going to keep trying to kill us and eventually he'll succeed. So let's be more discreet. Let's plan this carefully. And so the brothers just pretended everything was normal. They went hunting and they started familiarizing themselves with the terrain. And Vidura kept his promise. He sent a miner to them And having identified himself as Vidura's man by telling Yudhishthira about the secret conversation he had with Vidura, the miner told them that he could build an underground tunnel for them which would lead outside this house of death and they could escape. So this tunnel was constructed very speedily, and then when the time was right for them to escape, Yudhishthira asked his mother Kunti to throw a lavish feast. They invited everyone, lots of drinks were served and some of the food was drugged, and late that night a Nishada woman and her sons had come. So again there was a mother and 5 sons. Their food was drugged, and while they were sleeping, it's to the shame of the Pandavas that they did this, but Bhima grabbed a torch and he started in Purochana's room while that man was sleeping, and he set fire to the entire palace, and the brothers made their escape. And the citizens were very panicky and they tried to put out the flames, but it was hopeless. And then they discovered the charred remains of this Nishada woman and her sons, and immediately there was this outcry raised, and the message was sent to Hastinapura that the Pandavas as well as Purochana were dead. And immediately funeral rites were performed for the brothers, and Bhishma and Drona were grief-stricken, but Vidura seemed very philosophical about these things, and Dhritarashtra pretended to be sad. Duryodhana didn't even pretend, and so they felt that they'd achieved what they set out to do. Now meanwhile, the Pandavas had made their escape in the dead of night, and it was a very, very dangerous journey for them to undertake across extremely inhospitable terrain, and Kunti especially really struggled, and this made all the brothers very angry. But Vidura had arranged help for them at various points on the journey. There was even a boat waiting for them to take them across the Ganga, but even so it was a hard journey, and at one point none of the brothers could walk, and Kunti was about to faint practically. So they say that Bhima carried his 4 brothers as well as his mother. He was like, he had inexhaustible reserves of strength, and he was just mighty Bhima plowing his way through the dark jungle. And soon Kunti said she'll die of thirst, so Bhima set them all down. He found a lake, and he bought water for his brother and mothers, and he let them sleep for a while, and he kept watch. And while he was keeping watch, he was just thinking of how he'll get his own back against Duryodhana and his brothers for doing this to them. And around that time, they were in the territory of an Asura named Hadimba. Now, Hadimba was a flesh-eating Rakshasa, and when he saw fresh meat, he sent for his sister, whose name is also Hadimba, and he said, there are 5 strangers and there's a woman with them also. I would like to feast on them. You go and kill them. I will join you later. Now, Hadimba was used to following instructions from her brother, so she also set out to do his bidding. But when she saw Bhima sitting there looking very, confident and unafraid as he kept watch over his family, she lost her heart to him. And taking the form of a very beautiful woman, she approached him. She told him, my brother is in charge here. His name also is Hadimba. He wants to feast on you tonight, so you should, wake up your brothers and your mother. I will carry you all away from here. I have the power to do that. And Bhima said, no, thank you for the warning, but they haven't slept in a long time. They are tired. I will not disturb my family, and I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself as well as my family. And though she tried to warn him about how strong her brother was, Bhima wasn't really interested in her help, and at that point Hadimba himself came tearing through the jungle, and he sensed the delay, and when he saw his sister there as a beautiful woman, he really lost his temper. He said, I can't believe you'll betray me like this, and that too for a human. And he said, I will eat you first and then I will kill all of them. And Bhima said, what the hell, you're threatening a woman and your sister at that? Why don't you come and fight with me? At least I'm your equal. In fact, I'm your superior. And since he didn't want to disturb his family, they went some distance from there, and there was this huge fight, and both of them started uprooting trees, not a very eco-friendly thing to do. And there was a massive clash between them. And at the end of it, Bhima prevailed. He broke the spine of this Rakshasa, and his brothers had woken up by then, and Hadimba had told them everything that had happened. And they decided it wouldn't be safe to stay there anymore, so they decided to move on. Now this Rakshasi, Hadimba, she continued following them, and Bhima turned around and he said, I don't know why she's following us, maybe she wants revenge, I'm going to kill her also. And Yudhishthira said, she helped us, and be nice to her. So she approached Kunti. She said, you will understand a woman's feelings. I love your son. I know it's a difficult time for you all. So I will not separate him from you, but please let him spend some time with me. I will take him to all my favorite spots during the day, and at night I will bring him back to you. So this was the arrangement, and Kunti and Yudhishthira agreed. So Bhima and Hidimba, they travelled to all her favorite places, all beautiful spots, and after some time she bore him a son named Ghatotkacha. This baby's head was smooth and hairless like a water pot, so Bhima named him Ghatotkacha, and he reached his full growth at the time of his birth itself, and he became very close to the Pandavas. They all liked him very much because he was the firstborn in the next generation, and he promised that he would always come to their help. All they would have to do is think of him. And taking the blessings of his family, Ghatotkacha left, and Hidimba also thanked Bhima, Kunti, Yudhishthira, and she also left. Shortly after that, the family met Vedavyasa, and he consoled them because this was a difficult time for them, and he gave them this huge lecture, but it basically amounts to how the bad thing about good times is they don't last, and the good thing about bad times is they don't last either. So he consoled them like this, and he took them to Ekachakra. They stayed with a poor Brahmin and his family, and they also lived like that. They used to beg every day for alms, and that was how it was. They lived for a long time like that, and now food was an issue because Bhima had a massive appetite, and though whatever they begged and brought home, Kunti would divide it equally in half. One entire half will be given to Bhima, and the rest will be shared among the others, but it was not enough for him, and he started getting bad-tempered, and he started losing weight. And it was at this point, one day he was staying home with his mother, and suddenly they realized that the family they were staying with, something bad had happened because there was a lot of crying and a lot of lamenting. Now this Brahmin was scolding his wife. He said, see, I told you it's not safe for us to remain here. I told we leave this place, but you said you were born here, all your relatives are here, you want to die here, and now evil has befallen all of us. I don't have enough money to send somebody else on our behalf. This Rakshasa has to be given some member from our family, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And this wife said, don't worry, I've done all my duties as a wife. I have given you a daughter and a son. I don't mind doing this for my family. I will sacrifice myself. And this Brahmin started crying. He said, how can I send my wife to a Rakshasa? You're my lover, you're my companion, how can I do this? And then the daughter stepped forward. She was a very young girl. She said, I will do this. Anyway, you will send me to my husband's home. Someday you will have to say farewell to me. I will think of it like that. Let me go. It's a privilege for me to do this for my family. Again, her parents were heartbroken. And then the son was just a little fellow, a toddler. And he picked up a stick. He said, don't worry, I will kill this Rakshasa. And despite their sorrow, they all smiled a little. And at that point, Kunti stepped in and she said, please tell me what's wrong. I would love to help. And they said, we don't want to burden you with our trouble. But the thing is, this entire place is terrorized by Bakasura. He used to just come here and slaughter all of us and go. And we reached an agreement with him. Every month, one family would have to take a cart with 2 bullocks, and it will be loaded with lots of good food and drinks for this Rakshasa. He would consume the food, the bullocks, as well as the human who took the food and all that. And he said, it's the turn of our family. I have no idea what I'm going to do. All of us are going to go and die together. Kunti said, please don't do that. We owe you a big favor. I will send my son. He is able to do this task of killing this Rakshasa. And they said, no, how can we let a guest go? She said, don't worry, my son can take care of the situation. And Bhima was very, very happy. There was the prospect of a good fight and lots of food, so he couldn't be happier. And Yudhishthira saw his smiles and he said, what's going on? And he told his mom, I'm not sure this is a good idea. And she said, no, we owe them a favor, we have to help. And so all the villagers came and they bought lots of food and drinks, and they sent Bhima on his way. And this fellow didn't waste any time. He just started eating all the food and he was stuffing his face. He was so happy. And then Bakasura came there and he was like, what is this? This fellow is not scared and he's busy eating. And he started uprooting trees and throwing it at Bhima. But Bhima acted as though they were just flies buzzing around his head or something, and he just continued to eat. He ate the entire thing, drank up everything, and then very slowly he said, now let us fight. And once more there was this brutal clash between them, which went on for a really long time. And finally, Bhima won, and he killed this Rakshasa. Bakasura's mangled remains were taken to the entrance of that village, and he left it there so people would know that they are safe. And he returned very quietly to the home of this Brahmin. And all the villagers gathered there. They wanted to know what had happened. And this Brahmin just said, one of the gods came down and helped us. So they started worshipping this god who'd helped them. And Yudhishthira said, okay, now this will be big news. Everyone will be talking about this. Let us leave. It's not safe here. This concludes episode 7. I will see you in the next episode. We are going to talk about a polyandrous union there. In the meantime, please hit like, share and do the needful. I would also love to hear from you in the comments section. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Goodness with care from our villages. Arokya Milk.